Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last lesson we learned about a new functional programming concept called memoization. Now, how are we going to apply it to our program? We are going to add this property to this function using a library that we are about to install. The library is called reselect and we are going to install it using npm install --save, and we are going to call the library name reselect. So now that we have the reselect library installed, we are going to modify a little bit our selectors in order to be able to use it. Before starting this refactoring, let's quickly switch back to the browser and see how do we use the reselect library. What is it all about? So it says here it's a selector library for Redux. As we know, NGRX Store is sort of a RxJS version of Redux. It has more or less equivalent functionality. So let's see how can we use this library. So this library is a library for creating memoized selectors. So these are functions, mapping functions that take application state and produce view models. That's the definition of a selector. Now, in order to be able to leverage on push change detection, we want to, whenever we are creating our view models, we want to keep references to existing data as much as possible so that we don't trigger unnecessary re-renders of our user interface. And this library will help us achieve just that. So how do we use this library? We are going to use the createSelector function to create a memoized reducer, meaning if we pass to it multiple times the same arguments, we are going to get the same result without repeating the calculation. createSelector takes an array of functions, and these are getter functions that allow us to retrieve a given slice of state from the store. The second argument of createSelector is a function where we pass in the output of all the getters that we passed in on the getters array, and we combine the different getters to produce the result. And the most important is that the output function that is returned from createSelector is memoized. So the function will do mapping between application state and a view model, but it will cache that result. So what we're going to do here is we're going to switch back to our program, split up our selector function into multiple getters, create this mapping function, and then we're going to apply createSelector. So let's do that. This is coming right up in the next lesson.